Thank you. We will now turn it over to the Academic Committee Chair for this meeting, Mr. Al Brodell.
Thank you. We have several action items on our agenda and a couple informational items. We'll start with agenda item number 5, which is an action item, the technical certificate in practical nursing by Northwest Arkansas Community College. That'll begin on page 5-1 of the agenda book, and I believe Mr. Mason Campbell will give us background on that.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Brodell. Agenda item number 5 is a new academic program at Northwest Arkansas Community College. It is a technical certificate in practical nursing. The proposed program is a 35 credit hour certificate that will be offered to both secondary and post-secondary students. Students completing the program of study will gain skills necessary to perform basic patient care tasks in a variety of settings, such as nursing homes, hospitals, physicians' offices, and private homes. The proposed program will require 2 new full-time faculty members. It will share existing facilities, resources, and equipment currently used by the existing registered nursing program with only minimal upgrades to classrooms and learning resources. Funding for the secondary program will be provided by the Office of Skills Development. Practical nursing is classified as a high-demand occupation according to the Division of Workforce Services. At post-secondary non-degree award level, statewide median salary for LPN is over $45,000. Practical nursing is offered at 22 of the 33 Arkansas public institutions of higher education, with the closest being 80 miles away. A practical nursing program is also offered at NWTI in Springdale. No practical nursing programs around the state are below viability standards set forth by our division. And Dr. Diana Johnson is here to speak to your consideration of the program and respond to any questions from the board.
President for Learning at Northwest Arkansas Community College. I know my limitations in life. So today I have with me Mark Wallenmeyer, our Dean of Health Professions, and Carla Boyd, who's our Director of Nursing, and I'm going to turn the podium over to them.
Good morning. Thank you for having us this morning. We are starting the LPN program in conjunction with the Office of Skills Development for post-secondary and secondary K-12. The growth is approximately 2.5% for the need of LPNs. However, the job market is actually going down 1.8%. So we're actually going in the different direction. The closest institution to us to produce LPNs is Northwest Technical Institute. They put out approximately 25 to 30 per year. As Mason had mentioned, the median salary for that is approximately $45,000. Have anything? Any questions?
We do have facilities that are requesting LPNs. And so therefore they have asked, I've had the VA and the Northwest Medical Center both ask for us to start an LPN program.
Are there any questions? I have one. I asked this on several of our healthcare related agenda items. Anytime we start something like this, I'm always inquisitive about, do we have agreements or at least lines for agreements for a clinical affiliation?
We do. We actually, the VA has asked for them, and so has Northwest Medical Center. They actually want to do a
Consortium.
Thank you. A consortium with us for them doing all of the LPN clinicals.
And for the K-12 clinicals, because those students are typically under 18, we've worked with several of the hospitals in Northwest Arkansas, and they have agreed to allow them to come into the hospital as long as they're 17 to get in for their clinical rotations.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of the technical certificate in practical nursing by Northwest Arkansas Community College? So, motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 6. It's also an action item. This agenda item has a very long name. The Trails Trade School and Construction Technology Administrative Unit and Certificates of Proficiency in Trail Management, Trails Technician, Certificate in Trails, few others. I believe, Mr. Campbell, you're gonna walk us through this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6 is a new Trails Trade School and Construction Technology Administrative Unit and 4 new certificate programs at Northwest Arkansas Community College. As usual, when we receive 2 separate proposals that are contingent upon each other, we combine them for the board. The proposed 15 credit hour certificate of proficiency in Trails Management and 12 credit hour certificate of proficiency in Trails Technician are stackable credentials within the 34 credit hour technical certificate in Trails Construction and Maintenance. All 3 of these credentials will stack into the existing Associate of Applied Science in General Tech. A 36 credit hour technical certificate in Trails and Community Development is designed for those students pursuing career opportunities in community planning, economic development, nonprofit trail organizations, or tourism agencies. The programs will provide hands-on training in trail building, maintenance and safety, trail construction, design, and management while promoting sustainable, accessible, and innovative outdoor recreational opportunities. The administrative unit will require 8 new positions, all listed in your board book. The Walton Family Charitable Support Foundation has awarded a renewable 3-year grant to fund the creation of the schools and programs, enabling the college to provide high-quality lab facilities, equipment, and personnel. The program's enrollment is projected to be 12 students in each initial cohort beginning academic year 24, with projected overall cumulative enrollment of 24 by AY 26. The program would be the first of its kind in the state. And Dr. Diana Johnson and Dr. Megan Bolander are here to speak to your consideration of the program and respond to any questions.
So again, I'm Diana Johnson, Senior Vice President of Learning. I'm going to turn this over to Megan Bolander, our Executive Director of Trails Trade School Construction Technology.
Thank you. And I am going to, if it's okay, we have an industry professional that is going to join us via FaceTime, if that's all right. This is Hogan Kuisis. He is the Senior Director of he's the Senior Director of Soft Surface Trails. Oh, and it's saying I need a Wi-Fi connection. Well, we'll move on. And if we need to get him on, we can. So I am grateful to be here. I am very prepared after a conversation with Chair Bigger, and I have a lot of information that I would love to share with you. But I want to make sure that I clarify why we're here and how we got to this point, and the proposed outcomes, and then most importantly, who benefits from these credentials, and that is our students. And so if at any point I don't get to what you want to know about those things, please ask. But at the outset, I want to highlight the benefits to our students. And as Mason mentioned, they're stackable credentials into a 2-year degree that we already have. It is a 2-year degree that we already have, the Gen Tech degree that already, it has a 2+2 with Arkansas Tech into their Bachelor of Science in Operation Logistics. And that we are working with the U of A and their Recreation Sport Management so that our Bicycle Tech degree and also our Trail Technician and Maintenance, the multiple, those 10 courses can be used as their 10 electives in that 4-year program. We want to talk about jobs, we want to talk about salary, but first I think it's important to go back a little bit to understand how we got to where we are today. And the last time I was involved with this committee was our Bicycle Technician certificate, which was 2 years ago. We are now in our 3rd year, the cohort of that program, and I am really proud of the program and what it has accomplished. And the way that that came to be was an investment from the Walton Family Foundation to stand up this program based on the Bicycle Industry Employers Association organization, their curriculum, and their standardization. And we ended up being the first of the colleges in the country to stand up the program. There are now two, one is in Minneapolis. And our first year cohort, we had 18 students finish the program with a 96% on their GPA with both their pedagogical and their skills training. Last year, our cohort, we had 17 students finish. 11 of those are employed in the industry in our region. And so it's above a 50% employment rate. And I'm just proud of the fact that one of our graduates was our outstanding student for the entire college and was our graduation speaker. So I believe that we are filling a need in the region, and I believe that there is funding support that believes we're filling that need. And because of, I believe, the success in that program, and also what we've been able to accomplish with our construction technology program, we were offered the opportunity to start a trails trade school. If we are going to have as many people moving to the region as there are, and to the state, really, for outdoor recreation and economic development, we need people who can build and maintain safe and enjoyable and lasting trails. So what we're proposing is innovative. We realize that it would be the first in the state. It would actually be the first in the country of its kind, because it's building on bicycle technician trade and construction technology. But we agree with the National Park Service that, quote, trails are a legacy that we leave for future generations. And in Arkansas right now, I think we're seeing the push for this circular economy that comes from outdoor recreation. And I have from our trail advisory board, including Hogan, a quote that I want to share with you, that there are large projects. He is with Trailblazers, if I didn't mention that. It's a development and nonprofit organization in our region. But there are large projects on the horizon that are for-profit, some on private land, some on public land, that will not only help with tourism, but more importantly, help drive the need for trained and skilled professionals. And he shared with me that in the next year for our region, 20 people will be needed hired to perform trail maintenance, 10 to 15 for project management, 2 to 3 for trail crew leads, and potentially 1 or 2 trail designers. And that is just within our Northwest Arkansas region. And so now I'm going to shift to the credentials very quickly to tell you about their salary. And the reason this is important, and there's not a lot of data to share at this point, is that trail building and maintenance is not a standard occupational code for the Department of Labor at this time. And one of our metrics for the grant is to push that process through. And not only will that benefit our students, that will benefit our employer partners in terms of insurance and in terms of occupational codes. But so there's not a direct link at this time between a particular credential and a salary amount. However, for the trail crew member, which is our CP and trail technician, I got a trail building wage matrix from Trailblazers. And so trail building wage matrix in Arkansas for the trail crew technician is $46,000 starting. For a trail crew manager, which is the CP in trail management, so 1 semester, the range is between 39 to 68,000, and the average is 53. For the trail, for the TC in trail construction and maintenance, that would be a company project manager, because there are business components to that. That range is anywhere between 62 to 72, and on average in Arkansas at 67. And then finally, the trails and community development would be the trail master planner. That's the job title. That range is between 62 and 90, and an average in Arkansas is 76,000. And 3 other positions that are municipality or for the state. So city recreation worker, state park worker, park trail manager are anywhere between starting 32 to 60 with an average of 36 to 36,000. And so that's for city and state. And this is an important statistic that I got from our advisory board. Out of the 1,523 positions in the Arkansas State Parks, 594 are currently vacant. So that's a 39% gap that we would be able to fill with these programs. And so I can tell you a lot more. I can read quotes from our advisory board. One other thing that's important to note is that because we will be creating a standard occupational code, helping that process go through, we, with the generosity of this grant, have been able to hire a position that is an apprenticeship, placement, and standard occupational code coordinator. And so this person will be working with our students to not only help them into the program and then place them into the jobs that I just listed, but we also will start an apprenticeship program once there is a Department of Labor recognized standard occupational code.
So do y'all have questions?
We have any questions? Dr. Miller?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering, it sounds like a phenomenal program. I was just wondering, have there been any type of partnerships developed with Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism? Because I think that's a phenomenal opportunity. I know that's been one of the governor's primary initiatives.
So in 2 weeks, I'm having lunch with Alan Smith from Forestry to begin that process. Yep. I agree with you.
Yes, sir.
Question, please. So the 3-year grant, are we solely talking about that being contingent on biking trails?
No,
Okay.
no, we have everything from soft surface to hard surface. I mean, it is right next door to our bicycle technician lab, and there is synthesis, but we will cover much more in the curriculum than just mountain biking trails.
Okay, if I could follow up, but I guess, just a point of interest on mine. So I think if I recall, the amount that was stated for equipment was somewhere around $900,000. So can you describe what some of that equipment consists of, please?
Simulators, so students can practice before they are on the mini excavators that we will also purchase with that. Every kind of hammer and saw and axe that you can imagine. And the terms that I'm still learning, I think it's a matlock. And so there are multiple tools that we will need to have for students to practice the process of organizing inventory and of putting the correct tools with what task they're going to do. So if they are going out to do handwork, they have a particular bag and it has all of the tools they need for the handwork. But mostly it's the mini excavators that are going to cost the most.
Thank you.
Yes.
No,
Chair Bigger.
I just want to commend you for coming in so prepared today. When we had a discussion about this previously, my largest concern was the career outlook for the students because there is no standard occupational code for this. And so I really appreciate you going back to your partners and really getting a grasp of what that looks like, but also creating extra supports for these students as you navigate that process with the Department of Labor to make sure that they are placed throughout the state. I really look forward to seeing what this looks like throughout the state with parks and tourism, because I think there's an incredible opportunity here, not just in Northwest Arkansas, but throughout all of Arkansas. So I know that this program's been through a few iterations and I just appreciate your work on this.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do I hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of the Trails Trade School and Construction Technology Administrative Unit and the associated certificates?
I would move to accept that recommendation.
Have a motion? Second. Have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 7. This again is an action item, the Doctor of Musical Arts and Music by the University of Arkansas Fayetteville. That'll begin on page 7-1 of our agenda book. Mr. Campbell.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Brodell. The proposed 54 credit hour DMA will give students interdisciplinary training and work experience needed to thrive in industries that value traditional music literacy, creativity, communication, collaboration, research, technology, repertoire, and concert planning. An initial 3-year concentration in conducting will be offered, culminating in conducting public performances with a substantial capstone project. Additional concentrations will be added to the DMA in the future. Graduates from the proposed program will seek employment as college music professors, worship leaders, and composers. Existing administration, faculty, facilities, and resources will be utilized for the proposed program. Additionally, the university anticipates 0 cost to start the program. The initial enrollment is projected to be a modest 2 to 3 students in the initial cohort beginning in academic year 2025, and the proposed program would be the first of its kind in the state. And Dr. Terry Martin is here to speak to your consideration of the program and respond to any questions.
I'm Terry Martin, Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. We're requesting the approval to add this new degree, the Doctoral of Musical Arts, or the DMA. It's designed for students that are seeking the highest degree in the field. The DMA in music will begin with a single concentration in conducting, but will expand based on the demand in other areas in the future. The rigorous 3-year on-campus course of study for the DMA builds upon our success in our Master of Music degree program that we have at this point that we provide, but we need to provide the opportunity for the citizens of Arkansas to obtain the highest degree within the field. The goal of the program is to prepare the students for the university music positions, as well as composers, worship leaders, and those interested in K-12 public school instrumental programs as well. The university believes that adding this program, the new doctoral degree in the humanities area, will assist us in continuing to grow our number of doctoral degrees graduated in this area. The doctoral degrees awarded in the humanities are key, or is a key metric in the Carnegie classification for very high research status. The expected cost to the students for the credential is, for in-state students for the tuition and fees, is around approximately $23,000, and the cost for out-of-state students is $64,000. The starting salaries after their graduation is expected to be somewhere between $50,000 and $85,000 a year. And after 5 years, expected salary is somewhere between $80,000 and $120,000. So any questions that you might have?
Do we have any questions from the board? I have one very brief question. I read in our book, occupational projections, approximately 350 openings per year in this field, long-term growth rate of 10.21%, and we're gonna have a cohort of 2 to 3. Are we just starting slow and building, and do we
Yes.
have progressions of how many students you'll be able to take?
We will be able to take more than that, but we're trying to be conservative with our estimate and not overestimating and over predicting what we will be able to do. But after 3 years, we expect to be at that point, and hopefully it'll grow more than that.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Dr. Miller.
All of our students have to go to surrounding states to get this degree. There's no degree in the state.
That's what I thought. I used to be a music major before I changed, and you couldn't get a doctorate anywhere else in the state.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do I hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of the Doctor of Musical Arts and Music by the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville.
So move.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all. Agenda item 7 passes. Agenda item number 8 is also an action item. It's the Master of Science and Graduate Certificates in Environmental Resiliency by the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and that'll begin on page 8-1 of our agenda book. Mr. Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. Rodell. It is a Master of Science in Environmental Resiliency and 4 graduate certificates. The proposed programs are 100% online and will be comprised of a 30 credit hour Master of Science degree with stackable 15 credit hour graduate certificates, 1 in Environmental Resiliency, 1 in Environmental Resiliency Certifications, Accounting and Metrics, 1 in Environmental Resiliency Leadership, and 1 in Environmental Resiliency Sustainability. The program will offer advanced study focused on the ability of humans to interact with their environment and limit the impact of environmental change. The programs are targeted at working professionals, specifically mid-level employees seeking preparation to address potential economic losses as part of a broader understanding of climate change and solutions in a business-oriented economic development environment to advance their careers as leaders in business and government. Got through it. Workforce analysis shows the program would support specific jobs that are increasing up to 40% in the state of Arkansas. The program is designed to use pre-existing facilities, resources, and equipment. No new administrators are needed to support this program. However, the university will hire 6 new faculty members to teach the program. The program's enrollment is projected to be 10 students in the initial cohort, beginning in academic year 25, with the first projected graduates as early as AY 26. And Dr. Terry Morton is here again to speak to your consideration.
Thank you again. This is, we request the approval of the Master of Science degree in the Environmental Resiliency, along with the 4 embedded graduate certificates. This program will be housed in the Graduate School of International Education. And it's working with it's a partnership between the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design and the Environmental Dynamics program in the Graduate School of International Education. But there's also some other partners across campus that will be working with this program. This program uses the stackable credential approach to where we have which is very common today with graduate programs. The students will be able to use the certificates to get their initial skill set, but then go on to complete the master's program if they so desire. The degree, as he said, is a 100% online. Therefore, we anticipate to attract working professionals from a variety of undergraduate backgrounds, including business, science, engineering, and a variety of social sciences. The program, the students will have a better understanding of what is needed to move companies, agencies, and businesses toward a more resilient and environmentally sustainable future. Graduates will be able to seek jobs at a number of Arkansas companies who have focused on sustainability as a key driver of their business and hire graduates with similar skill sets to do so. For example, Walmart has focused on becoming a zero emissions company by 2040 and becoming a regenerative company, working with suppliers to avoid 1 gigaton of greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. ArcVest has created a sustainable targets, including greenhouse gas emission reductions for its businesses. Riceland Foods has used resiliency techniques to create sustainable irrigation water management tools, techniques to reduce water usage in rice production, and secured funding from the federal government for a variety of farmer-friendly, climate-smart practices to share with growers. The cost of the certificates is about $7,000. The cost of the master's degree would be about $14,000. As we said, most of the students will probably already be in the workforce. We think this will help them increase their skills to be more valuable to the employers. But the starting salaries for somebody in this area is probably between $50,000 and $65,000. within the state of Arkansas, and in 5 years expected probably to be 60 to 80,000. Any questions?
Any questions?
I have a couple of questions. In the application packet, and you spoke about, Walmart moving to a zero emissions company, Dillard's, Riceland. But when I looked at the occupational data and were the job openings in this, they weren't really listed as people that were hiring for these fields. It was more companies like Humana, Amazon, Facebook, Boeing, that I don't believe have a presence here in the state. And so, and none of the companies were included in the letters of support. So I'm just wondering, are we creating a program for jobs that don't exist yet? Or are these companies working alongside you to build a pipeline for careers that they're going to need?
We believe there is the job market there. We've talked to those employers within. We know what they're looking for. And it, like I said, it's primarily targeting the employees of the companies. It's not going to be primarily for someone to enter this program as a master's seeking. It's going to be people that are getting their certificate in those different areas and then moving on to receive the advanced degree. It being an online program, you're right, it does open it up for outside the state to opportunities for others. But we feel like with our environmental dynamics program and what we have with the Fay Jones School of Architecture, it's a good combination to offer a degree. We think that it will be growing, but we do think there are opportunities for enhancing the skill sets, primarily the people in the industry now.
So just so I'm clear, so the idea is that maybe working with these companies where they already have people employed to upskill them even more to specialize in some of these things.
Yes,
Okay.
we think that is the case.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do I hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of the Master of Science and Graduate Certificates in Environmental Resiliency by the University of Arkansas? I have a motion. Do I hear a second? I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I have another action item, agenda item number 9. This is the Institutional Certification Advisory Committee resolutions, and that will begin on page 9.1 of the agenda book. And Ms. Bowles will take us through this. Ms. Bowles.
Yes, good morning. Agenda item number 9 lists the out-of-state institutions that are requesting your approval for degree programs. We have 2 private institutions and 2 public institutions, 3 from California and 1 from Illinois. And there are 15 programs listed in agenda item number 9.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of the Institutional Certification Advisory Committee resolutions? I would move to approve. Have a motion. Do I hear a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Bowles. Agenda items number 10 and 11 are both informational items, and Ms. Tracy Harrell will provide the background for these items.
Sure. Good morning. Agenda item number 10 are the letters of notification received since the last board meeting in July. Letters of notification are reasonable and moderate extensions of existing approved certificates and degrees. They have been approved by the Commissioner of ADHE, but must be included in your agenda prior to initiation. As you can see here, ADHE Academic Affairs staff processed 80 letters of notification from 21 of our public institutions. This table summarizes the types of changes that were requested by these institutions. It's worth noting that, as expected, 27, not just necessarily the number, but that curriculum revision typically leads the pack. That it shows institutions' commitment to modernizing and adjusting for industry and workforce needs. Also, The next few highest would be program deletion and program inactivation. And that is just another way that our institutions have been committed to our viability policy. The full comprehensive breakdown of these letters of notification are available to you in the board book. And even though this isn't an action item, I'm willing to answer questions if you have any.
Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Item number 11 are the letters of intent that have been received since our last board meeting in July. Letters of intent are notification received from institutions of their plan to offer a new degree program, establish a new off-campus location, or a new organizational unit that would require your approval. The ADAT Academic Affairs staff processed 8 letters of intent from 7 of our institutions. As you can see here, we have 7 new programs that will be coming in front of you in the future. This again is not an action item, but I'm willing to answer questions if you should have any.
Any questions for Ms. Harrell? Thank you, Ms. Harrell. That's the end of our agenda for the academic committee. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I would move to adjourn.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. We are adjourned. Madam Chair.